Okay. Welcome, 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 one and all. Who doesn't have some sort of a device that can cruise the internet with them? I'm assuming you all have some sort of a device that can cruise the internet. Anybody not have something with them that they could look at, like the Canvas site with? Anybody? Really? Wow. I was going to say, if you are that person, share with your neighbor. But apparently that person didn't come to class today. So go to the Canvas site. Let's see, can I do that? I can do that. Canvas.wpi.edu. Yes, I have an email address. I feel so special every time I say yes to that question. Especially since I'm already logged in to like all the stuff and did all my two-factor stuff. And ME1800 A-22, that's us. All right, so when you get here, go to the People tab. And then I think your view looks different from mine. Maybe if I go to the student view, I can see what you guys see. Yeah, if I go to student view, you can go to groups over here. And doesn't it just tell you which group you're in? Yeah, it's a drop down. You just click on it. Whichever one doesn't have, like, and since my test student is not in one of the groups, I have a lock on all of them. Yeah, but you can still drop down and see it. Yeah, I can. You can see who's in each group, right? So group one is these people. Well, you can't, but that's why I asked you to have your own device. It is why. All right. Who's in group one here? Be proud. Be proud. Raise your hands high. Who else is in group one that isn't one of those three people? Merge together somehow. Either the three of you get up and go over here, or you get up and go over there. So group one, pick group one's over here. Group two. Group two, why don't you guys come down here because there's empty space down here. Group three. Group three over here. 1, 2, 3. Group four. Group four up in the back. Keep your hand up, group four, though. Group five. I don't know, group five. There's a spot right over here. Group five could go to. It's sort of emptied out. Group six. Group 6, you guys should stay in that corner because most of you are over there. Group 7. Group 7 down in front. Group 8. Look how I do this. Group 8. Over here. Group 8. Group 9. Group 9. You guys can figure it out between the two of you. And group 10. Group 10 should come to over here. And group 11. Group 11. Why don't you go up there to the back corner? Is there anybody not in a group yet? Where's his group? Your group 8. Group 8. Group 8. Where's group 6? Group 6 is up in the corner. Anybody not in a group yet? Geez, the room's going to tip over. I put too many groups on this side. This is, all right, what groups are over here? 1, 3, 2. So the low number groups tend to have more people here, huh? What group are you? Group 6. Where's group 6? Group 6. Okay. So I know for a fact that there are people in our class that have COVID because people have emailed me and said, I can't come to class because I don't want to cough on everybody or breathe on you and all that stuff. So there's definitely people, and you actually don't have to be in the room to be in class, right? There's 4 people watching online right now. Hey, 4 people watching online. What group are you in? Zach's in group 1. Anybody else? All right. So clearly not everybody from your group is going to be here right now. That's a good. What's your name? CK. What group is CK in? Anybody know? How come this went to sleep? My computer went to sleep because I didn't bring the little thing to plug it in. Yeah, and you're group 1. Where's group 1? You're over there.
Sorry.
Right. Your first name is actually the letter C?
In the database.
Oh, okay, in the database. Because it has a period after it, and if it was actually your first name, it probably doesn't deserve a period.
No, probably not.
That was going to be cool if your first name was actually the letter C. All right. The room is going to flip over, isn't it? Oh, maybe the wind is blowing that way, and so the boat's trying to heel this way, and so we need that ballast over there. Where's group 8? Group 8's over here. See, he doesn't know what group he's in. I'd say, what group are you in? But he doesn't know. But what's your name? D-Y-L-E-N. Dylan. Well, you're either in group 5 or group 6, or group 10. Dylan, you are in group 5. Where's group 5? Wow. Did you guys set that up? All right. Excellent. So you guys have groups now. I very scientifically used the information from the personality tests that you guys did last week. Thank you, by the way. Everybody did it. I thought I was going to have to hound some people to say, hey, you didn't do it. But because showing up is worth, what, 60% of the grade? Showing up is cool. So you guys did it. Thank you very much for doing it. Did I mention before that I don't really know how to use the personality test results to divide people into groups? So I don't, but I feel like it should be important. So here's what I did. I'm going to tell you my method. I sorted by, there was a couple columns, right? There was, here, I can probably open it up. No, I did it on a different computer. I can't open up the spreadsheet where I sorted, but I sorted based on the role right? So there was some roles. What were the roles? Anybody remember what their role was? So there was campaigner. Was that a role? There was like diplomat, campaigner. There was other roles. I can't remember what the roles are off the top of my head. I sorted by the roles column first. And then there was another column that was sort of descriptive about the way you do the role, right? So the diplomat could be like a consensus builder, or the diplomat could be I don't know. I don't think like Hitler, I suppose, was a diplomat, but he probably wasn't a consensus builder, right? So sort of an authoritarian. So anyway, then I sorted by those columns. And then I tried to evenly distribute each type into each group. Of course, it couldn't be even because almost half of you are diplomats, which maybe means that you're half diplomats, and maybe it means that half of you answer questions on personality tests trying to get that score, right? Because you kind of see where these tests are going. So I had to take a psychoanalysis test. I was going to work at a nuclear power plant. Turns out they don't want to let crazy people go work in nuclear power plants, and they don't want to let unstable people go work in nuclear power plants. So I was taking this test, and it was 250 questions-ish. I didn't count. But it was really like the same 7 questions asked over and over again with different phrasing. Because what they're doing is they're looking for patterns in your answers, right? And so I think this test is similar to that. They're looking for patterns in your answers. And so anyway, that was the method that I used to put you in groups. There are 11 groups. Each group has 6 to 8 people in it. I think mostly 6 and 7. There might be a couple of groups with 8 people. What's your name? Jameson. Anybody know what group Jameson's in?
Last name Courtney. Yep. And you're with us.
Perfect. What was I going to say before Jameson walked in? Anybody? What was I going to say?
Something about your poor way of dividing us.
Yeah, I think I gave up. I think I'm done with the poor way of dividing you. Oh, yeah, the number of people in the groups. I believe, especially for group projects, especially for class group projects or MQPs or IQPs, things like that, that the correct number of people in a group is 3. But if I put 3 people in each group, 1, I couldn't really distribute the types. And 2, that would be a whole lot of group projects for me to grade. So instead, I put 6 to 8 people in a group, made 11 groups. Group 8 and group 11, you guys were all in the same group for a while, but I really didn't want to have a group that had 14 people in it. So I split you in half. That was my mistake while I was putting people in groups. Sorry about that, but you never knew. Anyway, so the group itself now has a group dynamic. Who's worked in a group project before? You all go to WPI. You've all worked in a group project before, right? Groups have group dynamics. Whose problem is it to figure out the group dynamics? It's the group's problem to figure out the group dynamics. Is it ever possible that it's impossible to figure it out? It's probably never impossible to figure it out, but there are sometimes there's only so many times you want to beat your head against that particular wall, right? And so I would like you to figure out early in the group dynamics issue if there's going to be group dynamics problems. We can move people from one group to another, but I don't want to do it in the last week because it's pointless, right? But this week, you guys should have a group meeting with your group, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's at Dunkin' Donuts, whether it's right now during class, because everybody in your group happens to be people that come to class. Is there any group that's complete? You guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of it. Which group are you guys? Group 2. Group 2 wins a prize. Any other groups that are complete? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't be. There's no groups with 5. Oh. Okay. So what group are you? 6. So groups 2 and group 6 are complete. Wow. It's pretty exciting. So if there's people not in your people in your group that are not here, people that are here should pick who's going to reach out to them and make sure that this group meeting happens. So you must have a group meeting this week in order to have established that you have a group. There may be people that are on the list that even took the quiz last week and have since decided to drop the class. That happens. If that person does not ever respond to you, let me know. And I can reach out and find out if they're one of those people that dropped the class. If they're moving on. So definitely, absolutely, 100% required for your group to succeed. Have a group meeting this week. Now, you have another task at your group meeting besides the fact that you had a meeting. What do you think the next task is? It is indeed to decide what you're going to do. What were the categories again? I think I remember. Here, let me put up my thing that is what I think I remember. Share screen. Where's my share screen thing? I made a list. I just need to find the button again. StreamYard. Share screen. This one. Share. And this one. So if you go to get to this list, if you go to the syllabus and you go to the lecture schedule and you go to today's lecture, and then you click on the link that says notes. This is what I narrowed it down to. I said adaptability device. I said fidget device or STEM toy. I sort of categorize those as the same thing. And we had a case or enclosure for some sort of electronics or electromechanical device. Was there anything that I missed? I did go back through the lecture notes, and the camera didn't see this part of the board. So I don't know if there was anything written over there besides the STEM device and the adaptability device, but this is what I remember we came down to. Was there something missing?
There was also locks, but I think you included that.
I think I included that in the fidget/STEM toy because it's sort of the same type of skill set required to make it. So if somebody did want to make a master lock, we'll just call it a fidget toy. And we'll categorize it there. Although you probably shouldn't make a master lock because the master people probably have a trademark on that. And they probably also have some patents on their design. So you probably shouldn't rip them off. Maybe you could get a license from them to manufacture their locks, but I doubt it. All right, so what I want you to do in your meeting is meet. I want you to meet in your meeting. Could be in person, could be on Zoom, could be on the phone. You could use ICQ. Anybody know what ICQ is? Anybody know what Slack is? Yes. Yeah, great grandfather of Slack. It was like the first internet online messaging thing that was platform independent. So back when they had that, you had like your America Online Messenger. And anyway, so I would like you to meet. I don't care your method of meeting. Decide what type of, what category of device you're going to manufacture. and either decide or come up with 3 things. So you could pick one thing and say, hey, we've already decided we're going to make a puzzle with 6 pieces. So you don't have to have designed the thing, but decide what it is you're going to make. I recommend not deciding to make super complex assembly type devices, because you are going to have to come up with enough of a design of your device to at least figure out what machines you need to make it and how long it's going to take to make it. Now, it'd be really cool if I made you make the thing that you picked also, right? This is beyond the scope of this class. Because not because you couldn't do it, but because if we did it, we would run out of time before we got it done. So you don't actually have to manufacture the thing that you've decided to make. But I would like you to meet and decide what it is you want to make. And if you haven't picked the exact thing, at least have 3 choices that you're going to choose between. Everybody think they're capable of doing that? Yes.
Is that right now in the meeting, or whenever?
If your whole group is here, when I'm done talking, because we'll end early today, you could do the meeting right now, and then you won't have to meet again. But that's only for the people whose whole group is here. Or if your group is not all here, but you can get the other missing person on some kind of messenger, then you can do the meeting right now. Okay? So meet, decide, pick the things. Also, decide where you would like to locate your business. So meet, decide what and where. This is a pretty cool part of starting a business, especially when it's B2C, right? B2C means you don't have to locate right next to your other industrial customers, because you're going to ship your stuff FedEx or UPS or USPS. So you could locate anywhere that has good mail service. However, where you locate will impact the ability of your business to operate. So how does where you locate the business impact your ability to operate? Yeah. So there's supply chain issues. Can you get, so will you have easy access to the raw materials that you need? For example, if you decide to locate on an island in the South Pacific, it'd be a cool place to locate, right? Might have irregular shipments in and out of materials. Might be hard to sell the stuff. Cool place to locate, though. How else is your location going to impact your ability to operate? Yeah.
Political unrest.
Political unrest. Yeah. I don't think I'd want to start a new business right where there's a war going on at the moment. Now, unless the business was selling bullets, but we're not going to sell bullets. So you could have factors of political unrest, right? How else is it going to impact your ability to operate?
Laws.
So it could be laws. It could be, you can't make something that's illegal to make in that place. How else? By the way, I wasn't thinking of political unrest or laws.
If we're operating in a building, don't certain different places have different property taxes?
So taxes often impact where businesses get located. A lot of times when there's like a big corporation that's thinking of building a big plant, the state will wipe out the state taxes for that corporation so that they put their corporation in the state, thinking that, then they'll hire people and they'll get employment tax and all that stuff. So taxes are an issue. Yeah.
Having people to work for you.
People. So if you want to hire people that can work in manufacturing, where might you want to locate your business? In general, not like specifically.
Somewhere more urban.
So maybe somewhere more urban, maybe somewhere near where there's training facilities to train people to do that, right? So you might want to consider, is there a good vocational school system in the area? Is there maybe a technical college in the area that could train the people that need to do the work? Or you might want to think, what are we going to have to do to train our future employees? So there's those things. Let me just remove this guy from the stream since he's going to fall asleep anyway. Meet, decide. So just the cost of the real estate in general, right? You have to be in a location. So if you decide to build your machine shop in the heart of the financial district in Manhattan, you might not be able to afford the space to put the machine tools in, right? So those are things that you're going to consider. Now, you probably wouldn't have decided that, right? You would have picked someplace naturally, but those are things to consider. Where do you want to be? But you do get to pick where you want to be, right? So maybe you want to be in Southern California. You'll have some tax issues, but you'll have some nice weather. You'll have easy access to people, but they may prefer to be out surfing. I don't know. Anyway, so meet, decide what and where you want to do your business. Yes.
Should we assume that we have a certain amount of resources to spend?
Well, the end product of your group project is your group pitching me to provide you with the resources. So you have to convince me to provide you with however much resources you determine it needs to do your business.
So theoretically,
So, well, if you think you can sell it, it's theoretically unlimited, right? But you need to. So what we're going to do as we go through the rest of the term is we're going to figure out how much is it going to cost to do these things, and how are we going to get this money back? So when you're looking at location, you could look at now, this is not something that you would normally learn in an engineering class, but this loopnet.com is a website where they sell and rent commercial real estate. So if you go to LoopNet, you can see in this area what kind of buildings are available, either for lease or for sale. How much do they cost? And you could come up with some ideas there. You don't have to do this, but if you want to do that, you can include that information. Any questions? Any unclarities? Cool. Let's take a quick look at the schedule again. Add to stream. Back to the lecture schedule. Whoa. All right. So we are in the middle of week, I call this week 2 on the schedule, right? Group project review. Next week is packed. Okay. Week 4, we're going to do another group project review on Wednesday. So before the project review on Wednesday, the week of September 18th. So that's going to be Wednesday, the 22nd of September. You'll note that we don't have lecture the day after. That's because I will be in Vegas, baby. And I'm leaving shortly after this class, but I'm coming to class on Wednesday, and then I'm going to Vegas. So we won't have class on that Thursday. It's not that we removed it from the schedule. It was never scheduled because I knew I was going to Vegas before I made the syllabus. All right. But yeah, go ahead. That's how, yeah. So you got to give me some good ideas on that Wednesday so I know how much I got to roll for. So on that day, so this week, decide what and where you want to do it. But on that Wednesday, you're going to have, each group is going to do a very short presentation to the rest of the class. Now, when there's like 8 people in a group, all 8 of you shouldn't plan on standing up here, right? So pick 1 or 2 spokespersons for the group, and you'll come up and you'll present to the rest of the class what your idea is, where you're going to locate, and how you plan to make the parts. So what manufacturing processes you're going to have to do to make those parts. And then the class as a whole will give you feedback on that. Okay, so for not next week, but the following week, your group's going to have to do a presentation. We get 11 groups. We have 50 minutes, 50. Call it 44 minutes. Each group gets 4 minutes. Okay, so it's like an elevator pitch. You have 4 minutes to present to the rest of the class what you're doing and then move out of the way. And I'll have a mechanism for you to, if you're going to do slides or whatever, you can submit those and I'll just have them all queued up and lined up for you. But it's 2 weeks from today. You're going to do a group presentation of what, where, and how. Okay? All right, but for this week, decide what and where. And then for the following week, a little bit about how you're going to make the parts. All right, that's what I had for today. I can stick around and answer questions. Oh, I do have one more thing. We have a very strong assurance that on Monday, everybody can get their kits and we can get back to the more normal lab schedule. But your lab starting today and tomorrow are stuff that we normally do in the labs, so you won't be missing anything in the labs today, or labs today and tomorrow. You're going to get a chance to break some end mills.
Woo.
Breaking things. And you're going to get a chance to make a part that you can stick in your pocket and take home with you.
Woo. Making things.
Because, hey, but don't break too many end mills. Because the ones we're giving you to break, they cost, I don't know, 15, 16 cents each. They are 3D printed for us over here in the Innovation Studio. We're not going to cut with them, but you have a chance to break. If you try to cut with them, they will break. I guarantee it. But no, you're going to do some part setup. You're going to tell the machine where's the workpiece, and then you're going to tell the machine to go run the program, and then you're going to have a chance when we run the CNC machines. Anybody remember what our 6 key steps are when you're running the CNC machine? Well, close the door is important, but actually, if you don't close the door, the machine won't run. So no, it's not on our checklist. Our checklist actually is to have simulated the program in the CAM software. So basically what you want to do is you want to know what the computer thinks the program is going to do. And what you've started doing is you've started setting up tools in lab already and putting the tools in the machine and setting the tool offsets. So step 2 is to actually set the tools and the tool offsets. And you set the tool offsets so that the machine tool knows where the end of the tool is. Well, you also have to set the work offsets. You have to tell the machine tool where the work piece is. So the first 3 things are simulating the CAM software, set the tool offsets, set the work offsets. The 4th thing that we ask you to do is to simulate on the machine tool controller. So there's a little process where you go through and you press a button and you watch it trace some lines on the screen. There's a couple reasons we do this. One, it tells you what the machine tool thinks the program does. If it doesn't look like what the computer thought the program was going to do, it's not the same program. This is one of the first chances to realize that you've made a mistake. And it's a very cheap time in the process to realize you've made the mistake, because it really can't crash. I mean, it may flash the screen and be like, I crashed, but it doesn't cost anything when you crash like that. Crashing in the CAM software costs even less, because you haven't even invested the time of putting the program on the machine tool yet. So simulate the CAM software, set the tool offset, set the work offset, simulate on the controller. The next thing we do is to reduce the rapid speed of the machine tool. Anybody know how CNC machine tools move?
As in like in 3 axes.
They do use typically 3 axes of motion, although they could have 6 or 7 axes of motion. They might have 2 axes of motion. But that's the answer I was looking for, right? And we like use a Cartesian coordinate system to talk about where the tip of the tool goes, but that's not what I mean. CNC machine tools move 3 ways. They move from point A to point B over a controlled path at a controlled speed. So that's called a feed motion. If the path is a straight line, it's a linear feed motion. If the path is an arc, either clockwise or counterclockwise, it's a arc motion. And so you could do like a whole circle. You could actually do like a helix and things like that, but they can move either in a straight line, on an arc, or rapid. And rapid is just what it says. Move from where you are to where I told you to go as fast as you can get there. I don't care what the path is. And so the typical way to implement that in a CNC machine is to say we're moving 2 axes at once. Say we're not moving in Z, we're just moving in X and Y, is to start the X motor as fast as it spins. Start the Y motor as fast as it spins. Watch the X location and the Y location. And when the X gets to where it's supposed to go, stop the X motor, but the Y is still moving. And so you can imagine as it does that, assuming both motors can spin the same speed and they're connected with the same mechanism, you'd be going at a 45-degree angle and then straight to the point. And so we call that dogleg rapid, and the Haas machines all do this. So we have straight line. The command so as you watch the command scroll by on the screen, the command for a straight line is G01. It's got an X, a Y, and a Z, and a feed, some number that tells it how fast to move. G02 has an X, a Y, a Z, a feed, and a radius to tell it how much radius the arc should be. G03 is the same, except it's a counterclockwise instead of a clockwise arc. And then G00 is rapid. And it just has X, Y, Z, and it moves as fast as it can. This is really convenient for when you're moving like from the tool change location to the workpiece, because we don't want to waste time, right? So we don't want to waste any time. We want it to move as fast as we can. What about that first part, though? What about when you make that first part? What you might want to... Really? Oh, because the computer went to sleep. This is why I always plug in the computer. There. So we want it to go fast, except for that first part where we're not really sure if it's going to go to the right place. So the 5th thing on the checklist is to reduce the rapid speed. On the controller, you can set it to go 100% rapid, 50% rapid, 25% rapid, or 5% rapid. That's percent of what the machine can do. The mini mills that you're going to use for most of the lab exercises, they go 600 inches a minute, full speed rapid. The tool from the tool change location to the table takes less than a second to get there at full speed rapid. We have another machine in the other room. Full speed rapid is 2,000 inches a minute. So 25% on that machine is like 100% on the mini mill. So we don't tell you which rapid speed to use. We let you choose that yourself, but it should be based on your comfort level with that machine and your ability. Shouldn't say we don't tell you which one to use. In the ME1800 labs, we actually do tell you which one to use. But as you get out there and you're running the machines yourself, we don't tell you which one to use. It's up to you. I tend to do this check with the mini mills at 100% rapid, unless I'm worried about something. But at any rate, all right, reduce the rapid rate. And the last thing we ask you to check for is each tool, after the tool change and is approaching the workpiece, press the feed hold button. That just stops the XYZ motion of the tool. Look inside. Look at the screen because it'll tell you what point it's going to and how much further it thinks it needs to go to get there. So you look inside, look at the screen, look inside, and decide, does it look normal? Does it look reasonable? And if it does, press start, let it go. So this checklist, we developed it over time by having crashes happen. And when the crashes happen, we try to say what could we have done differently to make that not have happened? And sometimes it's just like, well, we could have had a smarter person running the machine. But often there's some policy thing, something that we could have changed upstream that would have made it harder for that dumb person to get to the machine. And that's how we developed this checklist. If you always do the steps on the checklist, that check distance to go step, almost 100% of the time catches any crash that was about to happen that didn't get caught in one of the previous steps. So when you get to the machines, you're going to practice that check distance to go step in lab this week. And we've set it up to try to fool you, to see how much attention you're paying. And that's why we give you plastic end mills, so that it doesn't cost us very much when they break. Oh, when you put in, if you have to change one of those, don't like use the torque wrench to tighten the nut down. They get crushed. They only actually need to go hand tight with the plastic ones. All right, so that's lab update. But next week we'll be back on the normal schedule, and we should have plenty of time to get everything done this term. You'll get all the swag. And you get some extra swag this week. And it will really, the thing you're going to make this week will really annoy your roommates.
Good.
I mean, really annoy your roommates, but it won't catch anything on fire. Probably. All right, that's all I've got. If you guys have your groups together, if you want to meet with your groups and take care of that group meeting stuff right now, I recommend that. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.